Hello, my name is Dr. Jeff Sharon, and I'm the director of the Balance and Fall Center at UCSF. In this video, I'll be providing an overview of horizontal canal BPPV, which is an uncommon cause of vertigo. We hope that you'll find this video useful. I do recommend that you first watch the Introduction to BPPV video if you haven't already, as it contains a lot of necessary background information. Before we start, it's important to know that horizontal canal BPPV is much more rare than posterior canal BPPV. It's also a much more complicated topic, as you will see. Therefore, please be aware that this video is not for everyone, just for interested patients who have been diagnosed with horizontal canal BPPV by a qualified medical professional and have been given home exercises to perform. Horizontal canal BPPV is complicated for two reasons. First of all, unlike the posterior canals, the horizontal canals are in the same plane. Therefore, gravity acts on both at the same time. When someone has nystagmus, a rhythmic eye movement in that plane of the horizontal canals, we know that they are part of the process. However, because they're in the same plane, we don't know if it's one horizontal canal being excited or the other one being inhibited, both of which would produce the same pattern of nystagmus. Unlike the horizontal canals, the posterior canals are 90 degrees to each other, so that when one is in a position that it can be affected by gravity, the other one is not. For horizontal canal BPPV, this can make figuring out the side, the affected side for BPPV, a lot more difficult. Secondly, the horizontal canals seem to be affected by two kinds of BPPV. To explain this, we need to take a quick step back. When we explained in our other video, Introduction to BPPV, that posterior canal BPPV is caused by loose debris in the canal, we were describing a theory of BPPV called canal lithiasis. There is good evidence that this accounts for almost all of posterior canal BPPV. However, for unknown reasons, the horizontal canal seems to be affected by both canal lithiasis, or loose crystals in the canal, and cupulolithiasis, or crystals that are adherent to the cupula. The cupula is a gelatinous sail-like structure attached to the sensory cells in one end of each semicircular canal. When the head is moved, fluid inside the semicircular canals deflects the cupula, similar to wind deflecting a sail. This deflection is able to be sensed by special sensory cells, the hair cells, which allow our bodies to detect quick head movements. Normally, the cupula is the same density as surrounding fluid. That means that only quick rotational head movements, which cause fluid movement in the canals, will cause movement of the cupula, and gravity normally does not cause movement of the cupula. However, when crystals are adherent to it, cupulolithiasis, the cupula becomes heavier than the surrounding fluid, and therefore when the head is turned to the side, gravity will cause deflection of the now heavier than surrounding fluid cupula. Unlike canal lithiasis, in which symptoms cease when the debris settles, which normally takes a few seconds to a minute, in cupulolithiasis, the dizziness and nystagmus can continue for as long as you're in the provocative position, because the cupula will continue to be deflected for as long as you are in that position. The supine roll test is used to diagnose horizontal canal BPPV and to try to estimate which side is affected. In this test, you are laid on your back facing up. The head can be flat or 30 degrees up from the horizontal plane, which brings the horizontal canals into the vertical plane. The head is then turned to the right to see if there's vertigo and nystagmus, and then to the left. If the nystagmus, the rhythmic eye movements, is observed in the horizontal plane, moving side to side, then horizontal canal BPPV can be diagnosed. There are two main varieties. In the more common form, the fast phase of the nystagmus, when you are lying on one side, is beating towards the ground. This is called geotropic, literally to the earth. Presumably, this is caused by debris in the long arm of the horizontal canal falling towards the ampulla of the dependent ear, the lower ear, causing an excitatory deflection of the cupula into the vestibule. Because the debris is in the canal, it is called canal lithiasis. Because the nystagmus beats towards the ground, it's called geotropic. This form of nystagmus can be treated with the log roll maneuver or the Guffoni maneuver, which are reviewed in separate videos. However, if the nystagmus is beating upwards or away from the ground, it's called ageotropic, also called apogeotropic. In this case, it's believed that the usual culprit is debris adherent to the cupula, the sensory part of the semicircular canal. Since the sensory part is now heavier than the surrounding fluid, it will cause nystagmus every time its position is changed relative to gravity. This cupulolithiasis is presumably causing the nystagmus to be beating upwards because in the uppermost ear, the cupula is now heavier than the surrounding fluid. This will cause it to deflect into the vestibule, which is excitatory, and it will therefore send a signal to the brain that you are turning towards that side, the side of the uppermost ear. That mimics a spin towards that ear, so you result with a nystagmus with a fast phase towards the uppermost ear and a slow phase downward. This is the ageotropic nystagmus that is seen with horizontal canal cupulolithiasis. This is treated with the Guffoni maneuver, which is reviewed in a separate video. One other possibility that we will briefly mention with ageotropic nystagmus, or nystagmus beating upwards rather than downwards when you are lying on your side, is canal lithiasis, loose debris in the canal, in the part of the canal next to the ampulla. Therefore, it would deflect the cupula of the uppermost ear towards the vestibule, causing an excitatory signal similar to what you'd see in cupulolithiasis. However, unlike cupulolithiasis, that nystagmus would be shorter-lived, and you should only see the nystagmus and feel the dizziness for under a minute. That form of canal lithiasis, causing ageotropic nystagmus in the horizontal plane, is treated with a log roll maneuver, rolling away from the affected ear. In cases of uncertainty, the bow and lean test can be used to help for determining the affected side. For this test to work, you must first figure out if you have canal lithiasis or cupulolithiasis. In canal lithiasis, the vertigo and dizziness should subside in under a minute in the provocative position. In cupulolithiasis, the vertigo and dizziness can persist for as long as you're in the provocative position, or at least a few minutes. To do the bow and lean test, you first take a bow, meaning that the head is leaned forward. In canal lithiasis, the nystagmus will beat towards the affected ear. In cupulolithiasis, the nystagmus will beat away from the affected ear. For the lean part, you lean back and tilt your head upwards. The opposite is true. In canal lithiasis, the nystagmus will beat towards the unaffected ear. In cupulolithiasis, the nystagmus will beat towards the affected ear. This can all be rather confusing. If you are found to have horizontal canal BPPV, which again is much more rare than posterior canal BPPV, your healthcare provider should instruct you on which exercises to perform. Similar to posterior canal BPPV, we do not recommend self-diagnosis, and the initial treatment should be performed with a trained medical professional. Furthermore, if you have any back or neck problems, any problems with lying flat or extending your neck, you should not be doing these maneuvers at home alone, but instead with a trained medical provider. We hope that you have found this information useful. Thank you for listening.